Hello everybody and welcome back to the video. How do you add like a number to this? I just want to add a 1 to each one of these so I can differentiate them from the huge slam, from the original ones. Like if the really, I gotta do it manually. My days. I'm pretty sure there was a fast way of doing this. Do I have to go into like the CMD to do it? Yes, Stato. Was that a greeting or a question? God damn it. Woo! Did not want to delete that. Imagine deleting the file extension of a file. Imagine having a 60% keyboard, not having arrow keys or a numpad. Dummy classes. What we got here? Dummy AI, dummy art, dummy materials. We have a folder called dummy thick in this one, so that means something has definitely happened here. You got combat actor, yeah. We got more stuff in here, have we not? No, we have just the folder dummy thick. Everything should be the same. Realized after you typed it, it was a hello, but kinda either works either way. Y'all getting rowdy down there in chat. So this is old content, right? I don't think we need any of this. Oh, we do, kind of. Can I just do that? Oh no, no, undo. No. How on earth do I do a I'm gonna look it up because this is probably gonna come up in the appends to multiple file names. Windows. Rename multiple file names in an order and add a prefix. Ha! Open Windows PowerShell. Over 4 trillion swords. You jump through the hoops and they bring in more hoops. I don't care. I knew it was going to be PowerShell. Somehow I knew you were going to have to open the command line and do it using smelly. I should make a macro out of this, actually. Could probably make a macro out of this. Tab, right arrow, _1. Tab, right arrow, _1. Tab, right arrow, _1. Tab, right arrow, exclamation mark. Oh, poopy! Shift tab. Right arrow, delete 1. Tab, _1. This is why we have computers, right? To do asinine shit like this for us. I think I may have made an illegal operation in my program as well. There's nothing in dummy tech, don't worry. Dummy materials there are, though. I don't think we need them. So I will delete dummy art, dummy AI. Ah, CBP enemy controller. I didn't do anything with it, but I do need it. A few lines of PowerShell renames that for you. That's, yeah, that's Combat UMG. Here we go. Combat BP, Combat UMG. Magic menu. Oh, we didn't make the magic menu yet. That's the one. All the redirectors are for the old file. For the old file paths. That's fun. There's a lot of oi 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 oi. It's very nicely formatted. Extremely readable. Is that a character set? That looks like a character set to me. Or it's some kind of a loop. Very interesting. I can't remember what this does. I didn't write that. Do not save. Right. Okay. So, what's the difference between CMD and PowerShell? If anyone knows. Is PowerShell meant to be more user-friendly? I did it again. I got a lazy shift finger. Oh, okay, I think that's it. Old content, we've been through all that. As dummy classes. Dummy AI? Oh, I was meant to delete these, right? I don't need them. We don't touch any of the original content. And guess what? It still hasn't loaded, so something about these nuts. Power level of the kit is over 9,000. You talking about plastic model kits? Are you talking about plastic model kits in the chat? It is. Oh, it's beautiful. But it's more like Fate's Day Night Unlimited Blade Works. Everyone keeps talking about this. PowerShell gives a deeper approach to lower level commands that do more things. Really? 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 Can I use PowerShell to roll left arbitrary bits in RAM? Or is that not something it does? Also, can we take 5 minutes to appreciate this nanite mesh that it made for me? I don't know when it made this for me. I don't know how it made this for me. But it did make this for me. And I'm extremely unhappy with it. No, that's ASM programming. Okay. Oh, for God's sake. I can't take it out of the project because it's such a massive meme, but it got so corrupted by something, and I don't know what. It looks like it's been data drained. It's meant to be grass. I'm not sure if I can even show you what it looks like. Doesn't exist anymore, apparently. Lawn? Maintain lawn, that's what it's called. Oh, Magpal emissive. I don't think that's what I wanted, friend. Basic. It's meant to look like that. Oh, it's meant to be tiled in the X and Y, but it is meant to look somewhat like a beautiful lawn. A beautiful, beautiful lawn. That's lined up. How big is this? It is 21 big. I made it 22 by 22 by accident, but it's actually, it is 22 by 22, but it's 21 by 21 because it's 0 indexed. And it looks like that. I think I had a custom material for it as well, but don't quote me on that. VNV? What does that mean? Obviously not. Preparing shaders, or maybe. Yeah, that is actually the one. That is the exact shader it was. As you can see, this beautiful thing is exactly the same as its original mesh. Round of applause for now, mate, everybody. Doesn't know what the fuck's going on, but it tries. Okay, bless it, it tries. Also, Nanite has tried to crunch this mesh as well, and it's gone a bit crazy. What the fuck is that? Please. Please. Oh my days. Anyway, this is my video game. We're finally in the editor, so I can actually show you the video game as it was originally intended to be shown. We'll play it in any window. Fine, it's fine. And then we can do the slow process of unborking the project from where it was borked. Again, for today. Today's unborking session will begin. It's really unnerving. It's really unnerving because I managed to restore the project from backup, which I didn't think was even possible because it was an engine change and it was built in the same engine that the last version was built in. But I made some very naughty C++ code. It's running like poop as well. Nothing I can really do about that, I'm afraid. I don't know why it's running like poop. You tell me. So anyway, I made some naughty C++ code that it didn't like, and then I deleted the naughty C++ code so it would like it again, but apparently Visual Studio didn't know I deleted the naughty C++ code and thinks it's still in the project and refuses to compile the project without that naughty C++ code. Present or not present or compiled or uncompiled. So at the moment, I have this extremely performant scene, which is definitely not tanking the stream at all. It's definitely running perfectly at a flawless 60 FPS. Let's just run this in the editor because I'll actually get frame rates. It was rendering at full frame, but it was rendering in a window. And I'm not going to excuse it for what it did, but this is it. So we have an adorable voxel graphic environment and character models. We have some 4DOF. Did I just align to a seam? That's illegal. Oh god. What chaos have I created here? Am I not aligned to the world here? I am aligned to the world. The grass is not aligned to the world. Is the grass aligned to a world? It's so hard to see the tiling. No, I think it is. I think it's fine. There's a big line in it. I think it's just an optical illusion. Let's ignore that. Anyway, and yeah, we have some lumen. We have some nanite. I don't know why. I think I'm gonna have to turn a lot of that off. The nanite especially, I think it's messing with the aesthetics. It's fine when stuff gets far away, but like it chews up a lot of the meshes in ways that I did not want it to. And also stuff for like the player model, it's not gonna be a thing, is it? Rendering the player model with nanite, that's silly. That's something that we should make illegal. And something that Epic Games did make illegal, but these aren't skeletal, so it's fine. Quote unquote fine. Anyway, yeah, it's beautiful. It is the thing. We've got some volumetric clouds placeholder. We got some sky. We got some floor. And yeah, that's where we were. The last thing I did before I balked the project was I was working on the combat engine, which will not work for some strange reason, but totally fine. Because we have all the old stuff right here, and they work. And dummy classes in UMG. But the first thing that I want to do is actually BP door does not work. I don't know why BP door does not work, but it does not. My goodness. Realistically should work. Realistically should work. I see there's something that's not plugged in here. That's not a good sign. It's not plugged in both places. Double. Oh! Oh. Right, okay. Yeah. Boolean is not compatible with float. Yeah. Integers are, though. This is why it doesn't work. So, anyone here familiar with Boolean logic? I hope that's the way it goes around. It best be. Anyone here familiar with the Boolean logic? We use Boolean in your math to make your math fast, quote unquote. I think that's why it had a trouble loading the level as well. It crashed the engine last time I loaded this level, or the first time I did, at least. And then it had some errors with a shader or something. Speaking of shaders, but we're here, and mtest glass material, game content materials, asset materials, mtest glass was missing the usage flag, be used with static lighting. Yeah, can you just like, okay, okay. You're giving me this flag, friend. You're not rendering the material, okay, it's fine. Be that way. Was missing the usage flag, be used with static lighting. It's literally there. I will hit you. I will make you. Are we on the same planet here, Epic Games? Are we on the same planet where, you know, this is a bit weird actually. I want to add some Freenel. Can I add some Freenel? I don't want that one on vertex. Vertex normal? Vertex tangent? Oh. Position? Nope, apparently not. Sphere mask is gonna be sphere mask BRH, which is gonna be BRH. Can I just start previewing the node? It's gonna be 0.5. It's gonna be 0.5. It's gonna be 1. It's gonna be 0. Camera position. And this won't compile in the shader editor. I'm gonna delete that for now. We're just gonna live with it being good. Anyway. Oh, hello. Hello. Suddenly. So suddenly some parts of it look good and some parts of it look absolutely horrendous. We tamed that, it's fine. But now it has that flag used with static lighting, so we're good, right? We're gravy. $979 instructions. Are you kidding me? $5% off a grassroots acoustic guitar, huh? Does look pretty wild. Oh, right. Okay, we don't need to look at that ever again now, right? Because this now works perfectly, right? Hey, look, something that doesn't work in a packaged game. An actual glass. I remember why I turned two-sided off. It gets a bit wacky, doesn't it? I don't know. Could work. Bop. Bip. Skadoosh. Check me out. Doors work now. So that's absolutely fantastic. Does the keypad door work? I swear to God. Keypad door works. I think I think that's the direction it was opening before. Does it actually clip through the player character when it closes? Yikes. Oh! The camera got stuck. Okay, so... That's kind of very unaesthetic. But I think... Stato Aus. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. I do hope you enjoy here. I'll add you to the overlay. Bugs. Stores in Orangeland don't open. Look the stress page, yes. Doors in Orangeland might open backwards, but IDK. Where to cover? There it is. Why does it move? Who did this? Who did this to you, Trello? Boy, do I hate this app. See how angry I am about this. These. Oh, that's a good point, actually. Do text boxes actually work? There's one in this level, so I will go to it. With mouse look, why not? It is excruciating to use mouse look. Like, the lighting isn't too bad. I'm pretty sure that the lumen scene is balked, but if I go up to this wall here, can we get some bounce? Right, semi-AFK with headset, gotta clean the kitchen. Ooh. Don't remind me about how unclean my kitchen is. The lighting is kind of okay. What? Yeah, no, the lighting is actually fully balked. Don't focus on it. Here's a room where you can traverse some ladders. Okay, so that still works. Signposts still work. Everybody rejoice. Here's a room where you can traverse some stairs. Like, it's fucked, but it's not like everything white are my eyes. What do you mean it's fucked? There's shadows everywhere. There's self-shadows on the player model. Apart from that corner you walked away from. It's beautiful. There's contact shadows. There's a little bit of reflection. You can see the sky in the wall. You said it's fucked. Oh, well, not that way. Like, it works. It works. Like, the lighting is correct, but it's broken. It does not work how it is meant to work. Scooby Dooby 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 Dooby. I think I added this to a portfolio. Yeah. I'm gonna have to entirely implement my own text system. I hate the fact that I have to do that. I don't think I need all these captures. I don't think I need any of these reflection captures, to be honest with you. I freaked out and I went back to my source days and added a bunch of cube maps. That's more or less what you mean. It works, but there's some spots that are oddly too bright. Actually, they're oddly too dark. The lumen scene, if we check out the lumen scene. You can see, yeah, no, completely balked. If we get our post-process volume, post-processor volume, we can go to the global illumination tab, and we can set the lumen scene lighting to be a 2, a 1. We can set the lumen scene detail to be a 2, and there we go, a 4, 2. So some of these things have got accurate lumen models somehow. And some of these things do not. Da fuck? This is how the GPU sees the game. So you can see that there's going to be some accurate bounce lighting off this large building, but there is going to be no accurate bounce lighting off literally everything else in the scene, especially the cops. Can I get the cops to show up? Oh, I can set it to 10 and it doesn't show up, so no. This is the reflection view, so this is what will be captured in low quality lumen reflections. You get close to things and they get weird and spongy. But you can see these tunnels, these floors, these walls and everything are black. And I don't know why. I don't know why. The insides are nice. But yeah, this is you know, the hellscape that you have to work with in Unreal Engine these days. This is the surface cache, so I think yellow means error. There's obviously something deeply wrong with all my materials, I think. Might be something worth troubleshooting right now. But you can see if we go up now to this this building, like the player will have nice we'll do a little splash of red on the floor if it wasn't so massively bright. If we go up to this building now, maybe we can get some orange on our face. I don't know. I don't really know how this works. Yeah, you lit brightly with the orange wall here, so way brighter in the scene. Also, did the post-processing effect turn itself off? Oh god. Okay, so we select this. Very interesting. Oh, it's nice how they put that there. Parent M demo PCL2 M demo PCL2 M demo PCL2. Advanced decal response debuffer normal color roughness. Use emissive for dynamic area lighting. Ooh. If enabled, the material's emissive color is injected into the light propagation volume. Ooh, fully rough. It's not translucent. Allow custom depth rights. Write only alpha. Mobile separate translucency. Translucency shelf saturation. Usage. Use with nanite? True. Who's screaming? Is Doggo screaming? Forward shading? No, don't do any of that. We don't use any of that. Again. Okay, let's see if that changes anything. So we use it with nanite, because I think a lot of those meshes have been nanitified, nanitoed. Getting the old Unreal Engine hand cranks out here. Hey, that's not bad. 129. I like the glass shader, which is like 1,000. Excuse me, friend. I'd like to rebuild the lighting, please. Just so we're all square. If anyone wants to make me an Unreal branded hand crank, that'd be swell. Ooh. Ooh. Channel your inner Rambo. TTRPG for the modern era. Wow. It hasn't changed, so I will look it up. I remember watching a video about this. But I don't remember why. Why are my meshes black in the Lumen scene? Problem is the mesh is one-sided polys and convex image in the recent lights with this type of interior is not supported yet. Face detach where your walls are done black objects in Lumen view. On the 3D aspects, Datasmith, you 5 pretty basic low to mid geometry, basic materials being in GI nodes, the Lumen scene is shortcut G. Some meshes shown as complete black from black objects, screen space GI calculations. Any idea whether this is happening? I've tried enabling nanite, importing the same model as the topology, having super simple materials, link with 2 screenshots showing the problem. Many FBX objects when imported have a distance field resolution scale of 0, limiting distant fields to work. Set your object's distance field resolution scale to 1 and apply build save. Should fix the issue. Yikes. Okay. Right, let's try that. As actions. Look at it. How cool. Distance field resolution scale. FBX static mesh import data, maybe. These are all FBX and they're all static meshes. And apparently that still doesn't work. Uh-oh. Yeah, didn't want to do that. That's fun. Generate distance field, yes. Distance field resolution scale, 1. Everything looks unblocked, but I'm gonna reload the level just to be sure. Oh boy, I almost scaled everything in my project to 1. Ah, oh, could you imagine that? Could you imagine everything in the project being scaled to 1? Oh my, oh my days. Nope, that didn't work. Oh, I gotta watch the video again. This is so cool. Like, just look at it. He does clip here though. Oop, big clippy. Needs scabbard IK, yeah. It's so cool though. but that wasn't helpful. Light map bleeding done. Lighting. Lumen tutorial for beginners. No. Luminous screen space, kind of. How to fix mesh turning black issue in Unreal Engine. No. These are some haunting screenshots here. What the fuck? So it's this that we're worried about, right? Think a Monkey TV. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Hope you enjoy it. Let me add you to the overlay. How are you doing? What are you doing? What brings you to this corner of Twitch? Distance field self shadow bias. Support uniformly distributed sampling. Light map coordinate index. Distance field resolution scale. Uno. Transform vertex to absolute. The option is true. The node transforms absolute, transform offset, and pivot would be applied to the mesh vertices. I don't know what that means. Compute weighted normals. Should we show the normals? They're all normal. All the normals are correct. I don't think there's any normals on the inside of this lad. Yeah, they all face out. That's good. So it's the right way around. Import uniform scale 1. That's not right, is it? Is that right? Just started your game dev journey, currently learning Blender, Unity, and C#. Then you'll expand from there. You're also interested in Unreal Engine 2. Great. That's exactly the kind of attitude we need around here. I have been developing games for 2 years in my spare time. So you can ask me exactly all the questions, and I will tell you exactly none of the answers, because like, it's really weird because, oh no, those are, oh right, okay. Those are different. And that's different. These are different. They are green though. But these wall panels, they're like 4 times as wide and half as thick. I don't know why I decided to do that. It was a dumb idea. You work full time, 12 hours a day. So you're also doing it in your spare time? Yeah, I feel that. It's been a long time since I've done a 12-hour shift, but... Do I have an experience before 2 years ago? Yeah, I used to make maps for CSGO. If you want a shameless self-plug, I will show you my maps. Did I just open Riftcat? Riftcat, unopen yourself. Riftcat's great, by the way. If you need a cheap, simple VR setup and you got a bunch of smartphones hanging around, fantastic solution getting into VR. Very cheap. I'd recommend buying it. I'd recommend supporting them. Humble Games Sale, Plants vs Zombies, RoboQuest, Titanfall 2. Titanfall 2, by the way, fantastic game, and it's $3.99. What a beast deal. Director's Cut, $27.99. I wonder if the expansion code is also on offer. Game modding seems to be a great way to get into stuff. Nah, so well, It's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky. It's tricky. Can I actually get at my profile, please? It's tricky. Look at this DVD thing going on. This is my workshop. Can I just go to my workshop? Only 3 stars for this one because it's a horrible map. It is actually genuinely a horrible map to play on, but this is peak. Peak gameplay, my friends. Take me back to 2009. I'd recommend, yeah, mapping for a game you like. I'm not sure what you can do in Unity, but if you have the Unreal Engine 4, you can map for Pavlov, and you can map for the Unreal 4. Unreal 4? I'm sure there's a bunch of Unity games that you can map for. What's that game that's on the Epic Game Store that I got that was built in Unity and I don't know why? Something. I can't remember, but you can make maps in that, I think. Yeah, they're a great entryway into using one of these when you have one of these. Yeah, one of these bad boys going on when you have a 4-up. A 4-up is a great way of showing the level in wireframe. This is a horribly cluttered wireframe thing. I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna have to do something about that. Oh my good gracious me! I'm gonna have to turn Nanite off, I'm afraid. In fact, yeah, like if you get the Hammer editor for Steam for Counter-Strike, you can make Global Offensive and Strike Source and 1.6 maps. And it's a BSP editor, so you get to learn all the crusty performance hacks that people used to have to do in the 90s to make video games actually run on PCs. Look, there's everybody spamming the stuff. There's all the people spamming their own stuff. Enjoy that. On this unfinished space cargo carrier and some skins. But none of these got accepted. Not a single one of them. It's beautiful. Something's flickering on my stat screen here. It's really annoying. But yeah, modding games is partially a good way to get into game development. I say it's probably better to not try and mod a game, but maybe make maps or like props for a game that are easy to inject, because well, if you get into the low level of trying to do weird stuff in an engine, a lot of the times it doesn't like that. Let me just turn Nanite off for some of these things. So a 16 unit cube. So apply changes. That's what we need to do. That button there is the magic key. And then we can see the lumen scene is still balked. Wild. It is absolutely wild. Zafianian, welcome back, says that they would recommend Bracky's Unity tutorials. Sure. Provides the project files so you can download them and mod them instead of following them step by step. That is cool. I would heartily encourage people following stuff step by step as well though. Is there a way to rebuild mesh cards? Once you start using an engine for a long enough time, you'll get into it, don't worry. Like it might be daunting, but just don't work on anything you want to preserve right away. Don't work on a copy of something, or have something at hand that you can revert changes with. Regenerate mesh cards UE5. You cannot. Oh, but there's show mesh cards, right? Cromer! It opened anyway, thank goodness. Show mesh cards UE5. Lumen technical details. Like, I know a lot of people who make something and spend hours on it and then it will break, and then because they're a beginner, here we go. r.lumen.visualize.cardplacement1. Boop. Yeah, that's your problem right there, Sonny. Ain't got no cards. Zero carderoni. Ay, very slow. Something is very slow about that. Epic Games forgot all of their own performance stuff. So it doesn't have any Lumen cards. Right. So that's the problem, right? Turn that off before it tanks the stream. Get out of here. Chrome still open? Surface cache. Yes. Lumen only places 12 cards on a mesh, but you can increase the amount by setting max Lumen mesh cards in the build settings, the static mesh actor. Adjusting the number of cards is useful for complex interiors as single meshes with irregular shapes. 12 cards. Bro, you can just have 6 cards on these, they're cubes. Let's see the surface cache. Screen tray. So you gotta set that on the static mesh actor, right? Okay. If I drag one of these in, right? Oh, right. I've dragged him in and he works fine. Right. Kind of. Right, okay. So these... Oh, these are individual blocks. Right. Fantastic. Right. Here's a tile helper. Event graph. Custom event. Propagate Meshes. Spawn mesh. Add. Start. No. Place. Mesh. My Christ. No context. Update mesh. Add material. Build from static mesh descriptions. Create static mesh descriptions. Get bounds. Get material index. Get static mesh description. Remove socket. Right. So, Epic Games teased that they had a thing. Epic Games teased that they had a thing for placing meshes in the editor from a mesh placing widget that makes a bunch of hierarchical instant static meshes to make large pieces of terrain geometry quickly from splines and arrays, boxes, whatever. And I want that right now. Static mesh. Here we go. Get static mesh materials. Static mesh actor. Get static mesh component. No. Static mesh component. Do not want that. Instant static mesh. Here we go. Batch update instances transforms. Nice. Skinned mesh, no. Set mesh deformer, no. Set skeletal mesh, no. Set vertex, set no. Oi, 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 oi. If anyone knows what function I'm looking for, please tell me. I know I'm almost at the bottom of this list and I haven't seen it. I'm gonna have to Google it, aren't I? I'm gonna Google it. Unreal Engine place mesh in editor with blueprint. Modifying static mesh, no. Static mesh, no. Proceed, no. 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 How do I convert blueprint to static? No. Building procedural, no. Replace static mesh components with hierarchical, no. I want geometry editing. Place mesh in editor with blueprint. Come on, I want to put a mesh in the level. Scene. Placing actors. Place static. Add actor to layer. Spawn? Spawn actor? For gameplay test, spawn actor from class. Static mesh actor. Ah! Aha! Aha! Is that mesh? Set static mesh, please. Static mesh. Set material. Do you see how stupid this was? I dragged off here and I typed set material and it wouldn't let me do it. And then I drag off the base thing and I type set material and it lets me do it, but it adds the same node that I just dragged off. This is the kind of shit that drives me insane. We don't have a list of the meshes. Right. Why not? His isn't even here. It's not a local. Ah, components is there. Don't worry. We got this. So I need a what? An integer array to store all the indexes. Can I not just can I get that actually? Can I just get that? Event graph. If I get instance count. Get instance transform. World space. So we need a for loop. -1. Right. Hear me out. Have this selected, right? There it is, Propagate Meshes. So I click that. And it doesn't do anything. Propagate Meshes. Interesting. This is going to be the thing where I haven't actually plugged it in, have I? No, I plugged it in. Ah, right. Okay, then there may be a mesh. There may be a mesh in there, right? Okay. Whoopsie. Yeah, whoops. Yeah, whoops. Can I... That's a lot of static mesh actors, okay. Where are they? There they are. They're all overlapped on each other right there. Actor static mesh actor 2799 is referenced by other actors' objects. You really want to delete it, this will break your references. Reference list isn't tile helper 36. That's interesting. It's the wall. Yeah, that is a static mesh in the field. So now, did I actually fix that? Yes, yes. Do you know what? The safety net. Safety net. Huge safety net. Again, transform specified instance. Instance is returned in local space, the coordinate, unless B-word returns true on success. I don't want you just spawning random garbage places. So this should work now. It's that easy. You just spawn actor, static mesh actor. Ah. Because static mesh actor is the actor class of static meshes. I make so much sense, doesn't it? Propagate those meshy boys. Oh! Did you see that? In real time. It created an actual flaw that we can actually use actually. And we can delete the brush. Oh, and it actually works in the Lumen scene. Check it out. The surface cache is there. I am a god. I mean, I say that. It's nice how they're all their own actor. Now, you might think that that's bad for performance, but it's actually good for performance. Contrary to popular belief. Oh, yeah. And it's good for performance because where we had, 30 or so hierarchical instant static mesh components, that's 30 draw calls, right? And they're all drawing the same cube. It's asinine, really. They're all drawing the same cube. Whatever. What was I saying? Right, okay. Trello. Back to the Trello. Yeah, notes. Boom. Do not requery a random. Hism. Do not contribute to GI or the lumen scene. I have put a static mesh spawning function into the Hism tile helper. So you, me, don't have to worry. You can just use it as a brush. Smiley face. I guess I should have put that down here, but it's quite important. Do not generate nanite on any mesh you want to be transparent. Yep. This is bad coffee. The only problem is we're going to end up with millions of goddamn static mesh actors. My days. My word. Nice. Is that? Oh, there we go. Wait, did they go under as well? Did they go under as well? Because there's another. You can just do that, and it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, there's no way of doing that here, is there? It says create a new folder containing the current selection. What do you mean preview? Hold up, what do you mean preview? Lighting's meant to be dynamic. What do you mean preview? Preview this. Oosh. It's very smoky in here, yeah. Where did the exponential height fog? Move to rendering. What was I messing with their view distance? Post-processing volume. No, not 20, not 22. Ay. Goodness me. Where's that fog? Volumetric fog does not support start distance fog max capacity, and the fog cutoff distance for volumetric fog also can't match exponential height fog. General as exponential height fog has non-physical behavior. Okay. Oh. Where's the water gone anyway? Oh, it's there. It's there. But it's been hidden by the fog. Right, we can see the fog now. We can see what's happening with the fog. If we go inside, we can see maybe if there's any fog in here. There's fog in here, right? Okay. That's pretty wild. What is this? What is this red orb following me around, man? Ah, it was a concentrated portion. I've still got that banner across my goddamn screen. It's pretty wild how the fog completely covers up everything. But if we grab everything and move the entire level, stop. get in a place where I can see it and also have the handle. Come on. Come on. Oh. Now, I don't want to complain, right? But this water is entirely covered by the exponential height fog. I wonder. We should move that down to like 0. I don't get it. Yep, it's fun. It's fun. Did it work? Great. Hmm. Ooh! Yo, what is this? Yo, what is this? So I'm getting distracted now. Doesn't look like there's a way to do it. I'll group this. I mean, I can. Ungroup. Didn't really want to do that. Move to. Create new folder. Roof. Oh boy. Editor. Oh no. Set selected spline segment color. Nope. Selection. No, that's not. Utilities, casting, no, num, no, flow control, no, string, no, struct, nope. Nope. Oh wow. Thank you. Oh, it's still there. God damn it. Select an editor. Blueprint. How do you select with a blueprint? typed element framework. Typed element interfaces. Is that what it is? Oop, not that one. Oop, not that one. Whoop. This is it. This is it. Right. Mesh actor object reference return value. So we need static mesh actor object reference. Yes. And it's an array. Do I need a for each loop? That was the thing though, right? Typed element interfaces. Attempt to select. Typed element selection interface. Array of script-typed element handle structures. Typed element selection set object reference. Maybe that's not it. Maybe that's not it. We'll leave it for now. It's fine. Is it fine? It's gonna have to be fine, I'm afraid. Move to new folder. Don't know what A. What made me choose Unreal over Unity, other game engines? Two major reasons. Back when I was a university student, I noticed that Unity had some weird pay-to-play options. It scared me off. And two, I have been trying to get into Unreal Engine since like 2006. But UDK was really crusty and scary and it scared me off. But now I'm here. I feel like because it has a native visual scripting language, and it also has basically, no offense Unity, no offense, basically like the industry standard rendering features. Unreal is basically like the choice to make, right? Like it has the good rendering. Not saying Unity has the bad rendering, but I think we all know. I think we all, we get it. And it's easier to do things in. Although you have just witnessed me for like the last, my goodness, what is this frame rate? Hello frame rate. Hello frame rate. Hello Moto. What is going on? Something going on here. Anyway, is it time for an engine restart? Oh, I don't have the restart engine button. Oh, would you like to apply the changes in modified material? Demo PCL 2. Yes. Let's just restart the engine real quick. So one of the fun things about the Unreal Engine is while that's my face. While in the packaged game, there's a whole bunch of real cool dynamic garbage collection and optimizations going on for rendering and instancing meshes. In the editor, none of that happens, which really fucking bugs me. But yeah, Unreal's I think the easiest game engine to break into, except for maybe like Scratch. Scratch is I don't want to say it's for baby kids. There's plenty of very interesting, very large brain projects in Scratch, like the ray tracer. Do not. Yeah, that's frame rates. I can deal with those. But like things like things like Game Maker Studio just didn't really feature for me, you know? What a bigger question is I'm gonna get some levels. Can I go back to that? I don't know why I'm doing this. I spent ages. I spent literally like 2 hours setting this up now. I don't know why it's not like a key thing that I should be setting up. Key things that I should be setting up is fixing the combat system that I was working on previously. I really don't know if I can do that because it's a pain to set up. Let me tell you, a pain to set up a turn-based combat system in an engine that was mostly designed for real-time first-person shooter games. Let's be real. But yeah, I think Unreal Engine is the easiest 3D game development environment to get into these days. Things like Godot and Unity require some kind of long form types, either scripting or coding, C#, GD script. It's kind of scary. It's kind of scary to think about that kind of stuff. Even if GD script is interpreted instead of compiled. Pretty sure C# is compiled, and I'm pretty sure every time I've tried to use a compiler, you know, without some kind of professional hand-holding going on, I've 100% balked things. Doji, welcome back. Welcome back. What is going on? What is up, dog? I closed the editor to get some frames back, and I think we're about to lose all those frames because it's doing some chugga. You home? Great. It's good to be home, isn't it? It's good to be home. So Mac check complete. What did you miss? Well, Lumen Scene. You missed the Lumen Scene existing. Don't just suddenly work. Don't just out of the blue suddenly just work. Oh no, those are static meshes. So it turns out that the Lumen Scene is. Do you need to be able to code in C++ for Unreal? No. You need to be able to code in C++ if you want to code stuff in C++ for Unreal. C++ is the native coding language for the Unreal Engine, and 100% recommend doing some C++ in your Unreal projects because it's far more efficient than Blueprints, even nativized Blueprints. It's way better to have C++ code instead of Blueprints. But as I said previously, the last time I tried to do C++ coding without some hand-holding and some compiling stuff with a big professional lad, I balked this project, which is meant to be a for-profit, you know, enterprise. If you remember correctly, C++ is faster. I just... Have we... Do you need to refresh your browser page there, Lumi? You got a little bit of lag. You got a little bit of latency there. Anyway, I just spent the last 2 hours making it so that my hierarchical instant static mesh component helper blueprint will, you said more efficient. Is more efficient. Faster is more efficient. Anyway, so it turns out that hierarchical instant static mesh components are not registered by the Lumen Scene at all. Lumen just does not see them. They're basically a void. So you actually need to have a crap ton of static meshes in your scene. And in the dark days, in the dark ages, that was illegal. I'll have you know. I'm gonna delete all these. I'm gonna delete all the box reflection captures, and I'm gonna go to the lighting, and I'm gonna see what the fuck's going on. Why do I need so many box reflection captures? Anyway, what was I talking about? Rendering? Where is rendering? Sun sky. I think I'm gonna work away from doing movable. Movable. Lumen? Sky atmosphere. Movable. Compass mesh. Get out of here. There's no baked lighting here at all. And it was like, oh, preview. Oh, preview. Why? What is preview about this? Is it the fog? Don't tell me it's the fog. Where is the fog? Where's that? Volumetric cloud. Movable. Exponential height fog. I'm gonna flip a table in a second. What do you mean preview? What do you mean? Anyway. So I spent time adding a button to my, in fact, I'll just show you, it's easier. Oh no, that is a mesh, never mind. So here's a hierarchical instant static mesh component tile helper, number 32 apparently. And we click this button here, and then we delete it, and we have an individual static mesh for each of the static meshes that it represented as a hierarchical instant static mesh. So in the before times, in the dark ages, sorry about that, I had a little breakdown there. Just it's fine. In the dark ages, you couldn't have this many static meshes in a scene because each static mesh would incur a draw call from the CPU to the GPU, and it created a huge CPU bottleneck on game performance. But in the now times, we have what's called instancing or batched mesh draw calls, which allows identical meshes to have their draw calls sent via 1 or 2 instructions from the CPU to the GPU. 1 instruction for the mesh, 1 instruction for each material slot that it has. So if you have this mesh and it has a different material, that will technically double the draw calls, which is scary, but it's fine. Having a million of the same box will basically eliminate the draw calls entirely. I'm going to do the floor now because this is going to be ridiculous and it's going to take like seconds to propagate them all. It took no time at all, and that's scary. What are we looking at here? That's all those, right? Okay. We group these. No, we don't group them. We move them. Could group them. So in the final game, the scenes are going to be made out of more intricate models put together with what do you call them? Mega asses. They are just called mega asses. That's what I've written down here. I also didn't check at the Humble store. I told you. Great news. This is the big floor. And so if we go back to the Lumen scene again, you'll notice that huge swathes of our level are now represented in the Lumen scene. It looks a bit swimmy. Ignore that, it's fine. It's because I've turned down some of the settings and turned up some of the other settings, just so we have a finer granularity in the resolution of each model represented by the Lumen scene, but we have a lower bake time. So you can see there's much more rich color splash on the inside of this tunnel now from when we were doing it before, when it was a black tunnel where there was basically just this here and there was a little bit of screen space light bleed. So if we stand ourselves like here, you can see the kind of the beautiful kind of color mixing you can do with a, just get ourselves a real funky resolution going on. Oh, it's Craig Pro. See, I spent some seconds doing that. You can actually see it in game maybe. It might be easier to interpret in game. If anyone wants to try out the demo, by the way, there is basically this build on itch right now. You can type games in chat with an exclamation mark before it, and you will be presented a link to download all of the rubbish stuff that I've made in the last 2 years. Not all of it, but the vast majority of it. There's a VR project there if you're into VR. There's I say there's a project there. They are packaged builds. They're not project files. You cannot steal my project files. That's illegal. That is stealing. So yeah. So So you can see even when the light is off screen, we're getting some bounce lighting off the wall there, which is nice. And now we're in darkness, and we got this little lighting needs to be rebuilt. 3,853 unbuilt objects. I swear to God, it's dynamic. And the reflection is mostly working. You can see there's the you saw it there for a brief second. There's the tunnel reflected in the eyeball there. So you can change the quality of the lumen reflection. You can see it. You can see the round edges of the lumen scene in the eyes, which is disturbing. But I think you can probably cover that up by reducing the resolution of the thing. Just doing it. Just send it. Send the resolution to space. Anyway. It wants me to rebuild lighting. I don't really feel like rebuilding lighting because you know, there's still all this garbage to do. Pretty cool though. So we can just go down to the bottom here and then tentatively scroll up. And there we go. We move those to a new folder. This is going to be a ladder arch. Yeah, I don't know why I'm spending so much time doing this. Maybe it's because I'm scared to move on and hit the combat stuff. It's not as really a non-issue. My eyes are going funny looking at all the orange. Then again, this isn't much better, is it? So here's the combat scene, which is very close to what I had worked up to. Most of it works fine, except for the sky. It does not work, and the combat wheel does not animate correctly. All the shadows are getting pretty crazy, and like, whose turn is it, bro? See, apparently it's someone's turn because we can click and it will give us the attack option, right? Right? But the actual menu itself isn't doing anything, which means I feel like we've probably got some Boolean logic missing in one of the blueprints, which is fantastic. There we go. And the animation doesn't work. The animation doesn't iterate itself correctly, which I think is a problem that I had before. That's fine. Yeah, a bunch of errors because it didn't have a thing that was referencing. It was trying to reference the thing. But anyway, I've finished my drink. And, well, I'm going to have to get a new drink before I do anything. So, if you'll excuse me. Don't you think it's the weirdest, the coolest? Uh-oh. You can tell when I'm coming back. Because I kind of, you know? Anyway, back on with what we were doing. A second content browser, perhaps. My avatar creeps around the corner with the death stare, yeah. Mm-hmm. Lock content browser, baby. Did I create my avatar or did someone do it for me? Well, it's an interesting story, actually. See, on Steam, there's a fantastic program called Vroid Studio, which is actually extremely easy to use. So I did the bulk of the work, the expression poses, the hair, the horns, myself, and then I bought the clothes from some lovely 2D artists on baybee. So, you know, half and half. It's not like I'm really bad at 3D modeling, as you can possibly tell by the art choices that I have. Can I... Jesus Christ. Move to create new folder. And also, just like this. My goodness gracious me. Move to rendering. And then we need CVP combat handler, CH combat camera dude. Move to new folder. Game logic actors. Sun sky. Directional light. Sun sky. And then window. Environment light mixer. Create a height fog. And there we go. Instantly a much more beautiful scene to deal with. So we'll save that. It's just nicer to look at with the fog there. It blues out all those dark zero areas underneath the horizon, which is fantastic. Notes to do. Don't look at how long this to-do list is. Add card. Change the combat tile spawner to I don't need to, because hold up for a brief second. Fantastic. But if I go to simulate this, if I simbimbulate this, actually you'll find that they are represented in the lumen scene. It's just the lumen scene is absolutely atrocious. Post-processing volume. Lovely little skelly bobs, though. I think the party have got very readable lumens. Lumen boomens. Please! That's good. That's good. That is not good. Yeah, very bobbly. Oh, and I see why. Right, okay. Indie game developer です。日本の文化が大好きだから日本語を勉強します。このゲームはなんだが、このゲームは JRPG みたいな感じで、まあ作戦中だからね、そんな感じ。Mana, you sound a lot like Sammy's bot. Just realized that you did a typo there. Oh! Oh! Whoa. I hope one day I can sound like John's bot. I don't think I can, though. Two? Especially when... Have you seen you can change the pitch now? And it's like Nightmare Zone. Everyone just de-pitches it and then just says things, and it's always creepy. It is true. It is always creepy. How am I gonna do this? Like, obviously I can this easy peasy, maleasy, squeezy wheezy. Wait, am I Japanese or American? You assumed you were Japanese, but then you read my text quite slowly. I am English. I did do a degree in Japanese when I was a child, and no longer am I a child, so forgive me if I read Japanese very slowly. That's how he makes his money. Yes. Well, it's how I tried to make my money. Back in 2013, I did a lot of translation work, and I have never been paid for it. So, if you're the ruffian who scammed me out of all my work, congratulations. My work is now the subtitles of the Dragon Ball Z movie, Battle of Gods. Or it's not. What kind of game am I making? I'm making a JRPG game. I'm making a JRPG game, and I will say it like that every time. Oh snap. Wait, what? Wait, I'm so what's going on here? You can't reply to yourself with a reply to yourself. What is going on? Doji's logged in on 4 different phones right now on 8 different accounts. So the lighting in the combat scene doesn't really matter. Is it a JRPG if it's made in GP? I've been asking myself the same question since I started development. You can't claim the rights to those subtitles. I fucking did them, mate. I fucking... Let me get my work folder out and I'll show you the 720p version of the film they sent me. I realize it may have sensitive information in some of these folders. Not this one, but F? G? I'm pretty sure I just had a folder labeled work. It won't be anything else. B. 2020, 2020, 2020. Is it the D folder maybe? Overwatch. Documents. Unreal projects. Unreal projects? Are you kidding? Twitch extensions. Program files. I gotta find it now. No. Documents. Here we go. Work. Here we go. Did they use them? I don't know. You know the story, but don't put that info out there, dude. It may come back to haunt you. What's gonna come back to haunt me? I'm angry. I'm owed $6,000. I did hours of work. Hours of work. Translating. Subtitling. Doing the fucking timestamps for the subtitling. My Christ. Anyway. But yeah. It is true. I don't know if the people who hired me, quote unquote, to do the translation, quote unquote, actually did hire me under legitimate circumstances. That is very true. In fact, no, I can't be bothered doing it right now, especially not on stream. Do you think? Just think about how ugly it would be. Will you tackle the typical Neko girl problems? Me personally, take care of Neko girls. Who? Oh, here it is. Maxi Fryer. Want to make a game where you take care of Neko girls once you've learned the Unreal Engine? Yeah, you tackle the typical Neko girl problems. There you go. Safe. Safe. Nothing is safe. Give me my money. Propagate those meshes, boy. I almost just deleted that one without propagating. What do you mean by typical Neko girl problems? Being accosted by foreign males on the prowl. Being accosted by dogs. Static mesh Ector. Move to create new folder. Yellow blocks. You know you was there. True. True. I was there. You can't see where I'm pointing because I don't have hand tracking, but it's like 1.5 meters to my left. They don't bath because they don't like water and they're not agile enough to clean themselves. How bad do Neko girls smell? Bad. Real bad. Stinky. Lumen. That's right, we got real lighting going on now, baby. Okay, so yellow is unpropagated surface cache. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'll do it. It's fun. In fact, can I just do that? Is that legal? And then I just propagate all those meshes and then delete all those static mesh actors? Yo. Something's gone wrong here. Have I selected everything? No? That's fine. It's a lot of actors though. Move to new folder. VR blocks. And who would want a Neko girl? They're a mix of girls with cats. Why not a dog? They're loyal, trainable, and useful. That is true. Shout out Corone. Let's go. Simulate. Simulate. These are actors. They're not instanced at all. They're not meant to be instanced at all, but they're not showing up as rendered in the scene, which is not good. The reflection view is pretty damn lame, but I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna have to un-nanite basically all these meshes. Still did really what the flip. Is that a reflection? Yo, he's reflecting the environment finally. Oh. He's finally reflecting the environment. Hold on. Lit. I want a high resolution screenshot of this lad reflecting those orange cubes. The lad with the reflective armor. You overthought the concept of an echo girl so much you add into your RPG with the knowledge that it's not wasted. I mean, it's the only responsible thing to do at this point. He's got shining art. His armor shines and is now also reflective. How do I capture this? Oh. Every angle is good, but none of them are perfect. What about from below? There's a skit there somewhere, and you would laugh at it so hard. Whoop. I got that song stuck in my head now, thank you. Lumi Doji, thanks for hanging out. Enjoy your lunch, dinner, lunch, dinner, dunch, whatever food you might be eating presently or in the near future. Can I check that out now? Can I check that out? G. Where's it gonna be? It's gonna be in the project folder, isn't it? Delano. Where is the project folder? Saved. Screenshots. It's very majestic. It's got a lot of weird aliasing going on. The bloom is pretty good. Reflections, pretty good. I like it. Anyway, what was I actually doing? Oh, we're in game. That's why it's been a poo-poo. Yeah, we're in game. Everything running slowly. Brain tanking. I was gonna look at the combat BP. I was gonna diff all these. I was gonna diff them all. This is bad. Don't do this. Good. Look, at least I know it's bad, right? At least I'm not kidding anyone when I say it's bad, right? You know. Let's diff them. They look identical to me. So that's fine. That is good. Skill heal. Skill heal. It is possible that we could probably just have a pin here going in there. I don't know. I don't really think about how I was going to implement skills. I'm not going to lie. Combat handler. This is a big one, right? The combat handler determines exactly how combat is proceeded to. Yeah, so we've got some stuff which is illegal here, apparently. Have what the hell just happened there? Did I have this on this screen for somehow? Like overall, debug turn times adjustment. What's that? Oh, I put that in to print out people's turn times? What's it do? And where is it, in fact? I don't see it being called here. Although it is a function, so it should be called here. Am I missing something? When does this happen? Placement complete. It happens once. It's fine. I don't know why there's a for each loop with break. It doesn't need a break. We're not breaking it ever. Remove pending removals. This is advanced turn list, goes in there. Absolutely 110%. 110%, that's fine. Where is add actor to pending, remove from initiative, spawn employment, spawn enemy AI, swap initiative, add actor to initiative, remove pending initiatives, and debug turn times adjustment. What do you do? So you get the initiative and you do a for each loop and you just print it to the screen, huh? I'm pretty sure I can just copy that and then where's paste? There it is. Set 0 timer present, debug turn times adjusted. Right now. Does this work? Does indeed. And I'm absolutely going to use it. Whack that in the... Oh! What do you mean you didn't compile? CBP combat handler. What are you? There isn't one in the scene, is there? It's not in the scene, it's fine. Blueprint compile error! A blueprint that we're not using. Oh, dude, his little feeties are getting a shadow. Ooh, his little feeties are getting shadows. Ooh. Ooh. Dismiss. I will fix it. Reach loop manual. You happy now? You're gonna scream at me because there's a blueprint that I'm not even using that has a compile error? Huh? Huh? Correct. Still no one's turn, which is great. CBP deployment grid. Pretty sure this is just standard. I mean, the deployment grids are working fine, so I don't think there's anything really you have to worry about here. Welcome to the diff zone, where shit's difficult. Oh my goodness gracious me. That looks fine, right? There's... Ooh. In-use pin value no longer exists on macro instance. Please use macro node. Somehow. Right, okay. Thought I renamed all these. I think we need those. Yeah, the engine's getting a little bit confused because everything's got the same name somehow, even though I renamed them all. So, CVP deployment grid. Compile. Apparently it was successful. Yeah, DPZ. There you go. Pro tip, don't have two things in your project. This looks mostly the same, right? Doing a spot the difference game. If you can spot a difference, good. I think it's fine. Deployment tile P1 and deployment tile P. Hazard, friendly tile, overlapped, overlapping actor, overlap check. That seems like something that might break. Oh, we look all good here. So I can just delete all of this, right? Ooh, 3 references. Really? 3 references. Actor component. Reference viewer. Combat actor. Oh no. No, no. No, 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 no. Absolutely not. This one. It's called a skill handler, but what is it? Skill handler, CAC skill handler. It's a CAC skill handler, but not a CAC skill handler underscore 1. So why is there a reference to it? Boy. Sheesh. Oh, it's combat actor. That's more like it. Well, they're both referencing the same thing. I will delete them. Four references now. Come on, man. CH combat camera. That's this lad, isn't it? Is there anything in here? Nope. PC VJRPG Combat and PC VJRPG Combat 1. Ooh, one of them doesn't compile. Very interesting. Ah, it's the animation thing, right? No? Wrong? Oh yeah, we did that. Don't worry. Okay, so it looks like everything is here. Let's have a look at the old variables. Oh, hello. So we have current targeting requirements, inventory, and magic menu. Oh, we have current targeting requirements. Well, we don't have inventory and we do not have magic menu. No, I don't want to replace references. Find references. Oh, I deleted this, right. Okay. Inventory. Magic menu. There's 2 gets, but there are no sets. Pretty sure it's a widget. A widget object reference. Oops. It's just down as an object. But I'm 100% sure it's meant to be a widget. Testing your stream and accidentally left my stream and audio on. Nice. Restreaming my stream. That's illegal. It's a single. Is this why I can't spin the wheel? I can spin the wheel though. Black Void Titan! Oh my goodness gracious me. Thank you. Are you here? Are you here? Wait. Back it up. Deep breath. Black Void Titan! Thank you for the raid. Welcome raiders. Welcome Black Void Titan. How was your raid? What were you doing? What were you sorting out? We don't use that, it's fine. Blueprint compiler. Don't be slow because there's a blueprint compiler. Don't do this to me. Hello. How you doing? What are you doing? Trish, Hero, Dracula, Scale 3, Scale 4, Scale 5, Scale 2, Scale 1, Eleanor. Blueprint compiler. Stream was good. Started out tweaking the level generation. You gave them did animation instead. Nice. Raiders coming into the stream. Welcome to the channel again. I'm currently trying to salvage my project from the smoldering ashes of a completely destroyed project. Entirely my own fault. Did not listen to Epic Games when they said, do not do main project development in Unreal Engine 5 preview or early access builds. I said, I'll do what I like, and here we are, having to write code that I haven't looked at in about a year, again. And it was code that I never even liked. Enter magic menu, combat phase 3. Right, so we have this. We have this already. I don't know how I did this. Don't tell me what to do, Epic. Yeah, don't tell me what to do, Epic, unless, of course, you're asking me respectfully to not use your copyrighted products without a license, because then that's a breach of contract, and don't sue me. But don't tell me what to do. Unreal Engine 5 is out now, so I can actually do what I like with it, mostly. And they changed their royalty schemes. You can actually make a film using the Unreal Engine. You would not have to pay them a single penny of royalties forever, apparently. That's what I read. It says that you can create video games, right? If you make $1 million from a single video game property made in the Unreal Engine, you will owe them a royalty of, I think it's somewhere between 20 and 30%. I can't remember. If you release the game on the Epic Game Store, occasionally, 50% of the time, don't ask me the odds. Epic Games may waive the royalty as it's being distributed on their own store. But it said specifically, if you create tools and content to be used internally within your studio using the Unreal Engine, so if you make like going out on a limb here, if you make a modeling program, or if you make a 2D art program using the Unreal Engine, you can distribute that for free, obviously within your company. You can actually distribute that for free anywhere, I believe, and you will not have to pay any royalties. One, because it's free. I'm not sure about software distribution with the price tag. Can't remember about that one, so just ignore me. But it said, I'm pretty sure it said you can make non-game, non-interactive experiences generated from the Unreal Engine are not subject to a royalty fee at all. So you can make films, you can make animations, you can make stream overlays. No problemo. It's always worth reading the newest stoof. Add a do once. Did I add a do once? No, it still says add a do once. But that is... Oh, hello. What in the frick? This is bonkers. If you ever looked back through a project, I should probably just show you what it does, which means going to a different level, because this is the combat level, which is currently balked entirely, completely. 112% balked. Does not work. There's meant to be a menu that slides out, and you're meant to be able to navigate it with the mouse wheel, but right now you can just mash left mouse button and it will say it'll open the targeting menu. You can't target anything, of course. Why would you be able to? But eventually it will break internally and it will slide the menu on screen. Yeah, it will slide the menu on screen. It'll slide the menu on screen so you can see the beautiful menu that I spent hours working on. Decades, maybe. It won't do any of that, apparently. Okay, fine. Let's just go to a level so you can see the cute animations walking around. Content. Game content. Levels. I just did some fixing up on this level so you can see the beautiful lumen illumination. It looks way better already, doesn't it? So we have, you know, some lovely voxel graphics going on, some translucency, some refraction. Actually looks pretty dope, if you ask me. Anyway, as a glass, you can walk through it. It doesn't have a closure mesh. Got some doors here, which have been thoroughly broken down by Nanite. Thank you, Nanite. We've got some interior. We got some preview lighting, apparently, even though it's all dynamic lighting. I don't know what's causing that. You tell me. You know, we've got an interior zone with all crisp shadows going on here. We got some light bleeding underneath the wall there, which is fantastic. It's exactly what I wanted. I accidentally went down this stairs there. Ignore me. There's 3,945 under objects of lighting, which is dynamic anyway. It doesn't need rebuilding. I don't know why it's telling me this. I'm gonna scream if it tells me this one more time. And all of these boxes are actually individual meshes now. I have implemented the tool, Mr. Blackboy Titan. If you want to know, you just spawn an actor of class, and the class is static mesh actor. I kind of want to say duh, but nowhere do they make that obvious, really. But you can see there's some nice global illumination bounce lighting. You see, we're not actually. We can't even see the sun from this angle, but we're still being lit gently by this orange cave. That's the power lumen. Lovely, lovely lumen. You can do GI if all of your lighting is baked, like Counter-Strike. But that's boring. You want dynamic GI, even though it doesn't really work with dynamic objects. The irony. Kind of does. Like, if you... As you can see, as you can't see, I don't know how to display this. Test. See, this I have not fixed yet, so this is still all very badly GI'd. But all the player models will reflect light. It used to be really bright, and you could bounce the sun off the player model. Doesn't look like you can do that anymore. Maybe if we get into this shadowy area here, we can see some of the light bounce. No, it's not strong enough. Just take my word for it. Take my word for it. That the main character here will bounce GI lighting about the scene. Oh, you can kind of see it there. It's really subtle. But you see that. I can't use the mouse. You see that flagstone right next to the player? It's going to get colder when we step away. It's going to get more blue. And when we step onto it, it gets more red. And that's because it's being tinted by light thrown off the jacket. Which is, I think, is pretty cool. Oh, you saw a little bit there when it moved. There's a little bit of... Because it's doing some real fast calculations. And it's like, it freaks out a little bit because the shoes are red. And it's like, it puts a lot of red into the scene. And, yeah, it does work on things that move, but it doesn't work on things like skeletal meshes, which most moving objects in most video games are skeletal meshes. So that's the drawback. And also Nanite. Did I show you this already, Mr. Titan? Nanite did this. I don't know why. I don't know when. I don't know how Nanite did this, but it simplified my mesh like a million times. It's meant to look like that, right? It's meant to look like some lawn, but voxel lawn, right? But it ended up. You tell me. I mean, it's roughly the same. Thanks, now, yeah. Thanks, Epic. Anyway, gotta go back to the combat level now because reasons. Because reasons. And I was working on PCVG RPG Combat, which is the... I don't need the message log, thank you. Which is the player controller for the combat mode. So you can have a different player controller for each mode. And this is the player controller I had before. I've got this, which is a switch on int to hide the magic window, which is a unknown function hide magic window. Okay, that's good. Unknown function hide magic window. It's fantastic. But that's going to come off here. So we have a switch on int, and there are 3 options allegedly, and there is a default option as well, but it doesn't have an execute. So there's a function that comes off here, which is a PC combat menu. We'll select a reference. And then magic item state. No. Okay, that doesn't exist yet. So we're basically doing archaeology at this point. We're going back through the dusty ruins of a project. So you have magic menu here. Magic menu, believe it or not, is never set in the player controller, but I get it twice, which is infuriating. Unknown, call unknown function, rotate menu ACW. Oh, do you know, I remember what the menu looked like as well. It was beautiful. It was glorious, and there was so much code in it. And I'm worried that I won't be able to actually make it again. It's in Combat UMG, right? UMG magic menu. There it is. Functionally. Uh-oh. That does not look correct. Sheesh. Okay. Okay. Bugger. It doesn't rotate as well. There we go. I remember it. I remember it being glorious. So we have, yes, we have one thing right here, fades, which had a material associated with it, and I have, in my haste, deleted the material. So it needs to go in here, really. I believe if I close the editor and I go to my recycle bin, I worry about what's in the recycle bin, to be fair. There is no recycle bin apparently. Why would I be worried about what's in the recycle bin? I don't know. There is a lot of garbage in here. I found the files. Let's just restore those. I'm gonna restore that one as well. Dummy thick is an empty folder. We don't need that. Deprecated. We don't need deprecated either. I think that's it. I think that's it. You didn't see anything. You actually physically, functionally didn't see anything. So yeah, welcome to the nightmare that is picking through code and basically the whole project really, because everything's interlinked. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Yeah, I thought I didn't need the material folders because I didn't think there were any materials that I needed in the material folders. But it turns out, oh, there it is. You can see it's working already. No. You can see the material is restored. It's dust. The material is not restored. Get out. Get out. Fades. Fader. This material does not use the UI material assign a parent. Yeah, it does. I'll fight you about this. All content materials. All content materials. Browse to mfader. I browsed to it. Content browser 3. Thanks. I think. User interface, right there. Save. Browse. Oh, bro. Ah, right, okay. I think I may have deleted it. What's that? MI fader. What is wrong with you? Parent. Fade. Fade. What's wrong with you, bro? I don't know why it's not. I'm so confused. So a UI material is meant to preview like this. Yeah, that's better. Right. Oh, did I just close the goddamn magic menu? MI fader, there we go. Let's look at the graph, because there's obviously going to be some hot mess over here, which doesn't work anymore. Macro instance, here we go. Modulo, okay. Right. So, I have a function library. Right? User macros right here. So, if I go to my function library, actually, decrement int and range apparently works. But actually, I want to change it. I want to change this. Is that right? We're going back to the drawing board, because I know, right? It's the modulo negative number. I'll write it out. Fine. Negative. Modulo negative numbers. When only the dividend is negative. If only the dividend is negative, then truncated modulo returns the negative remainder. And flawed modulo. I just have a small point for this website, Omni Calculator. You've moved from using X and Y and R to moving A and N and R. Can I? Is there just a function for that? Yeah, okay. So we'll make functions from flood modulo. Compact title. Like that. Flawed modulo, we'll just steal the code directly from here. Flawed division returns R equals A minus N times floor A divided by N. Dividend is A, divisor is N. These are ints, right? So it's X minus N. Nope. It's... Wait, what? This is... What was that noise? There's scorpions in here. Am I next to a Minecraft lava pit? I'm freaking out. What does this mean? R equals, yeah, it's fine. A minus N times floor A divided by N. So that's the, you could bracket that out, right? So it's A minus, but A is already... What is that noise? I think it's outside. I think someone's punching a wire fence. Stop it. Stop it. Whoever's doing that, stop it. give me one moment, okay? No idea. No idea. 100% zero clue. Right. I don't trust it. R equals a minus n times floor a divided by n. Multiply. Is that right? A divided by n floor multiplied by a. Oh, multiplied by, wait, what? N is the modulo. Nope. Nope. A divided by n. Not that one. Okay, a divided by n, floor times by n, a minus that number. Right? Get return node. Result. That actually probably is faster, not gonna lie, than this. Am I wrong? Oh my god. World context object reference. I don't know what that is, but it worries me. Let's not. Let's go back to how it used to be. And I had a thing that I was going to put it in. Macro instance. It does need to be pure though. It does need to be pure. It doesn't need to be pure, but it is a pure function. Glug glug. Is that correct? Length goes into range. Position goes into value. Yeah. Hot question. Why aren't they labeled? Flawed modulo? Does that look like a flawed modulo to you? Something plus something minus 5. Cursor position plus the index minus 5. That just looks like a regular modulo to me. That could be a flawed modular. Sure, why not? I don't know why I did that. Isn't it cool how professional that looks as well? Set magic menu ref self. Set target. What do you mean no? Could not find variable named magic menu ref in UMG combat selector C. Make sure UMG combat selector C has been compiled for. The property associated with magic menu ref cannot be found in game content, on content, UMG magic menu 1, magic menu C. The property associated with magic menu ref. Could not be found in self. Interesting. This self is a magic menu ref. And I will throw the book at you. So, you better watch out. It's as far as we can go with that one at the moment. What time are we on? 7 o'clock. Might be time to put down tools, get a fresh drink, and, you know, raid a dungeon or something. We get a flawed modulo. Do I need a truncated modulo as well? I may as well do it while I'm here. It's something simple that I can put in. Math symbols. There is no math symbol for truncate. It's the exact same as this, except you use a trunk instead of a floor, right? Truncation of positive real numbers can be done using the floor function. Given a number x, r plus to be truncated and n e n to the 0 number of elements to be kept behind the decimal point. Truncate the value of x. Mathematical notation to get truncation to a proportion. Truncate a variable of values between 0 and 1 e to proportion x min x plus x minus. There's no symbol for truncation. But it works on a negative modulo. I don't know if having 3 characters in there is going to be good. Is there a I'm just going to leave it the same. Same symbol. It's fine. Right, yeah, okay. So UMG combat selector C. And oh god, none of these are renamed either. That one's fine because we're going to use that. And initiative bar, initiative Q image, initiative turn image. Initiative bar, initiative Q image, initiative turn image, placement menu. It's just the magic one. None of those have got any logic in them at all, except for the button. The button does have logic in it. And the combat menu, but the combat menu has... I'll keep it just in case I changed it. G stat block. Don't. I kind of do care about that. Placement menu, turn image. None of that. Gone. Delete. Let's have a quick look at this. Because I get the horrible feeling I did something with this, like, just before I died. I mean, what? Just before the project died. Not me. I mean, a little bit, but... Now, that looks fairly even, fairly stable. Can input, initiative bar, combat handler, wheel selector. PCST, designer. Designer. That's fine, we can actually get rid of that. That and the stat block. And the confirm, because that doesn't do anything new. It's just these two things. So the UMG combat selector and the UMG combat selector. Really quickly, while I still have a brain left in my head, let's have a look at this. This looks fairly nominal. So we have some extra stuff. No references. 2 references here. Update magic list. Ah, it's down here, right? Okay. Okay, so that's stream tools for VR. I still need to look into those. So that's definitely not going to happen today. That's some big brain work that needs actual focus, and it's almost 8. It's 20 past 7 at night. Let me write this down as a thing though, as a post-it. I'll post it on my monitor for the next time I'm conscious and sentient. So we are going to be looking at diff UMG sad face in brackets combat. Anyone want an ice cream, by the way? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Arrow. Really badly drawn arrow. Magic wheel. Stuff. Smiley face. So, yeah. Let me get the next segment set up. I'm gonna check a few things while I'm gone, and then we can raid a dungeon. Raid a dungeon. Raid a dungeon. My post-it note pack can stick back together again. It can, just, and it stays together, and I can't pull it apart. And you know it. The second I leave it for 5 seconds, it will have fallen off again. Anyway. That's so frustrating. So yeah, thank you for coming to the development segment of the stream. If you came to the development segment of the dream, thank you again for the follows: Mabus Games, Stato Os, Think Monkey TV. Thank you for the raids, Devro, Lumi Shorts, Black Void Titan. Thank you both for bringing your people to my people. And we'll set up the next segment of the stream.